Get ready for it with Steve Walwyn! Yeah! Sort of taking on a bit of a Muppet Show sort of thing there. But yeah, welcome aboard, welcome everybody. If you have got phones, if you could put them on stun, that would be cool. Could have sent that earlier on, couldn't I, before we started? Yeah. Right, first question, it's a broad question. It start with everyone, every sounding off we do. How did you get into music in the very first place?
I can remember liking records, as we used to call them, in the 60s, particularly the Beatles and the Stones and things like that. I never thought I'd play an instrument in those days, but then a friend of mine who lived a few doors along the road in Southend when I was growing up bought this crap acoustic guitar. But I picked it up one day and I thought, I wonder how you do this, and that was it really. And it had sort of nylon fishing line type strings on it, and it was awful. But I found that I could emulate some of the records, or at least, you know, try and get some kind of melody out of it, and it sort of went from there really. And I bought a second-hand, really cheap electric guitar, which I've still got, funnily enough. It's called.
What's that?
It's a Top 20. Used to find them in catalogues.
Yeah.
Kay's catalogue.
Did you get it from a catalogue?
No, I bought it second hand from somebody I went to school with. I think I paid £9 for it. I've still got it today. And then a couple of years later, maybe 3 years later, I saved some money to buy that.
Oh wow!
Which I bought in 1976 from a guy in Hinckley, and it was advertised in the back of the Melody Maker. I mean, in those days there was no internet or eBay. If you wanted to buy a second-hand instrument, the first place to go to was the Melody Maker. And,
of course.
And he brought it over to Leamington. I moved to Leamington by then. And I just saw it, and it was expensive actually. It cost me 180 quid, which in those days was a lot of money, in 1976. But I just...
And what do you reckon it would be worth now?
I've no idea. Hello.
Oh yeah, welcome.
Yeah, I don't know what it's worth now. Probably, as an instrument, to a collector, probably not that much, because it's not in original condition. That's not its original finish. That pickup isn't original. But apart from that, I think it is actually. But it's worth. It's been my life.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
You know, I mean, it's done thousands of gigs, literally thousands of gigs. It's had its neck broken twice. Whether you can see that break across there.
Oh yeah.
That happened at JB's in Dudley, circa 1983, something like that. And I don't want to talk about it. And then in the 90s, we were doing a gig in a place called Chiddingfold in Surrey, which was a cold and damp room. And I'd done a sound check, and we thought, let's go down the pub. There's a pub down the road. So I said, right, pile into my car. So I leant that against the car, in its bag, in a soft bag. I leant it against the car, and it was pitch black, middle of winter. Reversed, so the guitar fell over, and I ran over it. And it snapped the neck up there.
What are you doing this to me?
And as soon as I'd done it, I thought, oh no, please, no, not the guitar.
Oh dear.
I was not happy.
Has the damage changed the sound to it on now?
No, I've repaired it.
For the action or anything?
No, it's fine. I mean, this one was a clean break, so I just glued it back together, and it's fine. This one.
Oh, you did that yourself?
I did, yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah. And this one, you can hardly see it. You can see that small crack there. It didn't actually break in two. It just kind of, it was still holding together. If you see it in two pieces. So again, I just glued it back together. It's absolutely fine.
So how's it sounding now? He says a little cute. We can't hear much. But
No. Well, it's the same as it always was. Yeah. No, it's fine. Yeah.
Sounds good. You didn't bring an amp with you?
I didn't bring an amp. No.
You bought your acoustic though, didn't you?
Acoustic, yeah.
Brilliant. Well, I've got a question here. It's a why the guitar, but I think we've answered that. First guitar, I think we've answered that, yeah. What about early influences? I mean, you mentioned the Beatles there.
Yeah.
Where did it go from there? I'm thinking that it might have gone somewhere else from the Beatles.
Well, it's 60s songs like, you know, pop records I still like.
But what about, I'm thinking the Stones and R&B?
Yeah, and then I kind of
people
discovered the bluesier side of things, shall we say, and probably the first influence in that field was Rory Gallagher. I bought Rory Gallagher live in Europe, which is still one of my favourite records. I mean, I can play that thing back to front.
Yeah, and of course Taste as well.
Indeed, yeah, going back to Taste, and then I started listening to Jimi Hendrix as well. And I'm thinking, hang on a minute, where have they got this stuff from? And then I went back to the blues guys, you know, and then discovered Muddy Waters and Howlin' Wolf and etc. etc. etc.
Was that kind of a revelation when you were sort of discovering these people?
Yeah,
did it sort of changed things for you.
It did, because I thought I'm listening to their different guitar styles. Like Albert King, how does he do that? What's he doing? Just study it and play it over and over again, and then try and emulate it. Along with a lot of other people, obviously do that or have done that.
And what about? I mean, we're jumping a little bit here, but while we're talking about it, what about your style?